everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, we're going to take a look at the new DC Collectibles 6-inch scale Batman the Animated Series Mad Hatter figure. Now this figure comes packaged in the same style packaging we've seen with all the animated series figures. You've got the figure clearly displayed, you've got that Batman symbol on the back, you've got the name of the character off to the side and the animated series logo down below. Tells us this is figure number 21 in the series and that it was sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios. And then on the back of the packaging we again have that Batman image from the animated series. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the Jervis Tetch Mad Hatter figure outside of the packaging. Now before we look at the figure itself, let's first take a look at the accessories that come with it. Okay, so the figure comes with a number of accessories. First of all, it comes with a figure stand like we see with all the figures in the line. It's got that white base with the turnaround image of the character. It's got the clear plastic arm with the clamps on the end, and you just stick the figure in, and the arm is adjustable. You can move it up and down and out and back. Then he comes with 3 different pairs of hands. So he's got a pair of closed-fisted hands, and these are the hands that are attached to the figure when you first take it out of the packaging. Then he's got a pair of open hands that look like he's reaching out to grab somebody or something, or maybe to type on the little control pad that he comes with. And then he's got a pair of grip hands for holding the axe that he comes with. And the hands are just white. Now I do want to note that I have a little bit of red paint freckles on the joints. On the hands. I don't know if like these hands were painted red initially and then white, the plastic is red and then painted white over it, but you can definitely see a little bit of red, especially around the joint areas of these hands. Then he comes with 2 episode specific accessories from the episode called Mad as a Hatter, and one of them is an axe, and it's just got a yellow handle with a little heart at the top, and the axe is just painted white, and this is how it appeared in the cartoon. In the episode, he's this big Alice in Wonderland fanatic, and he's the scientist that used to worked for Wayne Tech starting out in the episode, and he developed these cards that basically allow him to control people's minds. And so in the episode, he goes to this Alice in Wonderland theme park and gets these people to dress up as characters from the story. One of which is the Queen with the axe, and she attacks Batman. She ends up dropping the axe, and he picks it up later and tries to use it against Batman as well. The other one is it's a control panel. That basically at one point in the episode when they're in the theme park, Batman ends up in this maze that's made to look like playing cards, and this control panel is used to like open and close walls in the maze, and so you see Tetch using this control panel. Now I will say that this thing up top here is supposed to be a microphone, and it's a little bigger than what we actually see in the episode, so that seems to be a little bit on the big side, but otherwise this is pretty accurate to what we see in the cartoon. And it's just a piece of plastic, basically. Okay, so for the figure itself, I think it looks really good, looks true to what we see in the cartoon. He's got the big goofy smile like you see him have in the cartoon, and then you've got his hair sculpted, the yellow hair. He's got blonde hair like in the cartoon, and it was just yellow. So it's nicely sculpted. He's got the big top hat, which is not removable, and then he's got the card that sticks out with the little 10/6 like again we see in the cartoon. So nice detailing there. Then he's got the big goofy bow tie, and that's just a rubber type material that's glued onto the figure, so the ends of the tie are actually kind of loose, and you can kind of move it a little bit. He's got the big collars, and that's kind of a hard plastic, so that does limit some of his head movement a little bit, which we'll look at when we look at the articulation. And then the coat that he wears, which is blue, and it's got the black buttons on it. The coat itself is just that kind of vinyl material like we see with capes and stuff, the body of the coat. Now the arms are sculpted, and so you do have the separation between the main coat and the arms, so it doesn't limit the arm movement at all, which is good. It does limit, he's got a waist swivel, so there is a little bit of limitation there. Also limits his legs because the coat comes down over his legs and his knee joints, so you don't get a lot of leg movement with this figure. But again, it does look really good and true to what we see in the cartoon. Okay, so the figure stands at about 6 1/4 inches tall if you count to the top of his hat. He is shorter than Batman, as he should be, and he's kind of a short guy, but with the top hat that gives him some height, but even still he is a little bit shorter than Batman. Okay, so articulation on the figure, as I said, is a little bit limited because of the coat and such. He can turn his head to the left and the right, and he can look down pretty good. He can't really look up at all because the collar, which is a hard plastic, limits him from looking back. He can look straight ahead, but he can't really look up. Arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joints at the shoulder, and as I said, the coat is separate from the arm, so it doesn't really limit his rotation, and he can get his arm out good. He has a single hinged elbow and really doesn't have very good bending at the elbow. That is about as much as he can bend it. He does have the swivel at the elbow, and then he's got the swivel at the hands, and he's got the hinges on the hands, so he's got good up and down movement there with all the pairs of hands. Now, as I said, there is a waist swivel on this figure, and you can, get him even with the coat. If you grab the bottom of his legs and you turn from there, then you can get the swivel joint to work. But you got to grab him from the bottom of his legs in order to do that. Now, the legs, I assume, are your standard T-crotch design, but I can't see the legs at all because they're completely covered by the coat, and you don't really get much movement with the legs. You can't do them out, you can't do them forward more than that. You can't really bend the knees too much. You can bend the knees maybe a little bit, about that much. The knee joint you can see is right there at the bottom of the coat, but it's still, the coat covers the knee, so it limits that movement a good amount. And there's no swivel, or it doesn't seem like there's any kind of thigh swivel or anything, so really not much you can do with the legs. Now the ankles, you do have the up and down movement, and you do have the ankle pivot. Now again, I want to point out, like with the hands, here on the white on the feet, you can see some red bleeding through on the joints, and 2 peg holes on the bottom of his feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I like the figure. I like the look of it. I think they've done a good job of capturing the look of this unique character from the cartoon with this figure. Now, it is a little disappointing that the movement of the figure is pretty limited due to the coat and everything. But I think, if this isn't really an agile character to begin with, so the fact that he's not super articulated doesn't bother me too much. And again, I think the look of it is really nice. So if you're a fan of this character, I think this is a figure you're definitely going to want to add to the collection. Now, this figure is out at comic and specialty shops now. We'll have a full gallery of images up at toynewseye.com. There's a link in the description below. And as always, leave a comment, let us know what you think, and if you're so inclined, please like the video. And until next time, I'll catch you later.